Hello guys, how are we all doing? Hope you're all having a fantastic week and a very happy new year. Or the whole 3 weeks there have been of it. Hope it's going great. So I came home today and there was a box there and I was like, what the hell's that? And I got this out. And I was like, what the hell is this? Then I remembered that something Gearbest was sending me. These are VR goggles or FPV goggles. Now, I was very sceptical because these things retail for about 40 quid. Gave them a quick Google just then and they look really good. So I'm thinking, combine these with that little cheap FPV camera that I showed you guys in the previous video. I reckon we're on something here. Looks pretty decent. So let's grab the camera over closer and of course, as always guys, if you're at this stage of the video, please hit a like, and also this is the first time you see my face on the screen, please hit the subscribe button. Channel's doing amazing. Guys, thanks so much for 50,000. It's incredible. Considering I took such a long gap, the channel sparked up brilliantly again and I've only got you guys to thank for that, so thanks so much. Let's grab the camera over and have a close look at this one. The FuriBee or FuriBee, I don't know, VR01 FPV goggles. So let's take a closer look and see what's inside this box. So usually I do a little bit of research into what it is I'm actually talking about, but if I'm totally honest with you guys, this one I actually haven't done much research at all. So this is the first time in terms of having a look at this little thing. This is the first time that I've seen it. So if we have a look here, you can see on the rear of the box it gives you the bands and channels. So these are all the channels that this thing will connect to. Quick check has revealed that the little FPV camera I showed you guys last week actually in fact will bind successfully with this one, because they both run 5.8 gigahertz. That's 40 channels. So let's have a look, see what's inside the box. Now, bearing in mind you can get those Fat Shark FPV goggles. Those cost, you know, in excess of £400, some of them. So taking into consideration that these things are 40 quid, I'm not expecting miracles. With that being said, from what I've seen online, there are some good reviews of this item. So we'll see what my review and what my take of it is. So let's get it out of the box here. Okay, so first thing coming out, there's a little bag here. Inside here you've got your patch antenna there, 5.8 gigahertz, and we have the video cables there. This looks like your power cable. There's your patch antenna. Okay, and here we have your video cables there. Of course this does, I believe this actually has a video input, so you can also plug in your video feed if you're using a separate receiver there, so you don't actually need to use the 5.8G receiver. This one there looks like your power cable, and on the end it's got this connector, so you can just power this thing straight from one of your RC batteries that you've got laying around. That's nice. In terms of what's inside here, obviously these are the goggles themselves. So here are the goggles. Let's see if we can have a look inside there. So it's just one screen. It's not a split screen. Don't know how much you guys can see, but just looking at them, they've got this nice felt material, spongy material around the outside there of where this is going to touch your face. So that looks quite nice there actually. Let's have a look on the top here. So on the top, let's have a little zoom in, and so we can see a little bit closer, see what's on the external casing of this one. So you can see here, V in, I assume that means video in. This is DC, so this is where you're going to be popping in your power supply into there. Got a few buttons here that you can just press to choose your channels. And like I say, this has got dual antennas, so we've got one there and one there. And here's the other one here. This is your mushroom type antenna. And then of course, as I just showed you guys, here's your patch antenna. So let's see if we can just set this little thing up a little bit, and let's screw on the antennas and see what we can do with this thing. So let's screw this antenna onto there. Obviously it's just a screw connection on there, so easy to assemble. So that one's flexible there as well, so like I say, that can be easily adjusted, and of course, like I say, if you do knock it or hit it, then it's not going to snap. So looks wise, certainly looks interesting. Looks a little bit more ugly than Fat Shark, but then of course, to be quite honest with you, the price difference here, we're talking about like, you know, massive markdown on like Fat Shark FPV. These things retail for about £40, obviously bearing in mind the Fat Shark ones probably like 10 times that amount. So okay, so now that those antennas are on there, obviously you've got these straps here, those will go over your head there. Let's have a look at these wires here. Let's remove these wires and see if we can find a suitable battery to power this thing up with. There we go. And then you're left with this long wire there to plug in this connector. Let me go and see if I've got a suitable battery. So just about 2 seconds later. Good thing about having this kind of connector is if you're an RC hobbyist, you'll find a battery, whether it be LiPo, NiMi, whatever, that will suit this thing. So in 2 seconds I've just found this thing, plugged it straight in, and you can see inside there we have our screen. Now you can see up there in the corner it says channel A to 7. Okay, so let's just try pressing some buttons, and you can see very easily changing the channel up there, like so. Just goes from A, B, C, D, R. Okay, so what I'm going to now try and do, and I don't know if it's going to work, is I'm going to try and power up that little 5.8G camera and see if this thing will search for it, find it, and display the picture. I actually hold pretty high hopes for this thing. I actually just powered up my little Hubsan X4 drone. You can see it very quickly has picked up the signal from my 5.8G drone there, the FPV camera in that one, and you can clearly see there it's successfully found that frequency. Literally all I did is I just turned on this little baby just on there, and you can see obviously it's not connected to the radio, that's why it's flashing, but this little thing is transmitting 5.8G video feed, and these goggles there have picked it straight up, just like that. So with that in mind, I reckon if I put my little FPV camera that I bought from Hobby King, it was only 30 quid, on top of the plain, maybe Skymaster or the Tough Trainer, I reckon I'll have a full FPV setup for less than £80, and then we can do FPV flights, because I reckon that's going to work, because if this is working, I don't see why that shouldn't. Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously the review naturally wouldn't be complete without me actually trying these things on, because of course they are FPV goggles. Not quite sure what they expect me to do with this. Like I said, it does have a long wire, so possibly you can maybe tuck it in somewhere. The only other thing I'm a little bit concerned of is just when I literally just pick these up, this connection is quite loose, so I'd be really concerned that if you were flying or whatever and actually this came out, obviously you're going to lose signal. Well, you're not going to lose signal, but you're not going to be able to see anything. So let me now put these things on. Right, let's try it. Nice. Okay, so I can see. Okay, so yeah, it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's not quite long enough to fit in my pocket. Well, I don't know actually. Yeah, it's in my pocket. Okay, fair enough. Got to give them that. It's long enough to fit in my pocket. So the battery's in my pocket. There's a little bit of light coming in just on the underside here, which could be a little bit annoying. That could be off-putting. Something I'm also noticing here as well is the screen steaming up a little bit in there, but nothing drastic. I hope that wouldn't steam up too much there. Let me grab these. Yeah, so I'm looking at myself. There's the camera. Quality's very good actually. So they do say these goggles here are HD. That's what it says on the box. So these are HD goggles. In terms of how they look pretty alienated really. They're quite long. They're certainly not very compact like the Fat Shark, but as I said guys, these things at the end of the day, they are like, you know, something stupid. They're stupidly priced, aren't they? They're like £30 as opposed to an FPV setup, Fat Shark FPV goggles, which cost the earth. And in all honesty, they're comfy there. They've got a pad on the rear. I reckon I'd be quite happy flying FPV with those. So I tell you what, you know what you guys are going to have to do? You guys are going to have to stay tuned to the channel, because I reckon we've got some FPV plane flights coming up really, really soon. Nice.